Say I man Kelvin Panny Mike MC. I don't chat slackness strictly culture you see.
Blessed be people. Welcome back to you all. So people, today we're gonna talk about a legendary reggae engineer slash producer, and the name of that person is King Tubby. So people, King Tubby is an engineer who influenced the development of dub in the Jamaican music. His birth name is Osborne Roderick, and he was born on the 28th of January 1941 in Kingston, Jamaica. So we're gonna look at some of his work. We're gonna look at what he brought to the table as an engineer to Jamaican music. As also, we're gonna look at some of his successes. As also, we're gonna talk about his untimely downfall, how he died. So King Tubby's first interaction with music came in the early 1950s with the rising popularity of Jamaican sound systems. During this time, King Tubby was a radio repairman. A sound system could be found all over Kingston, and it was turning into an enterprising business. So King Tubby was one of the better radio repairmen in Kingston. So based on the amount of sound systems that were rising up in Jamaica, Tubby found himself in great demand by sound owners who needed to repair their sound, and they needed electricians, persons who know how to repair sound equipment. Most of the major sound systems back then really needed a person like King Tubby to repair equipment and so on and so forth, because based on the tropical weather in Jamaica, you know, rain wet up amplifier and so on, as also you have people who sabotage people's sound. So sound clash go on, other man sabotage man sound. So there were always equipment that needed to be repaired. So most of the sound man them know say them could depend on King Tubby to take care of that aspect of it. And as a result of that, he was their main go-to person as it relates to repairing their sound system whenever equipments were damaged. So Tubby was that man. You understand people? Yeah man, he was their go-to person. Back then, technology was not as advanced as now, so you know that it was easy for equipments to get damaged if you do not get a skilled electrician who understand what he's doing to repair those equipment, or to string up a sound, as them used to say back in the days. You know, some man have a lot of equipment, and when them sound string up a dance, only one man can get the sound to play. No matter where the next man try, the sound can't play good. But as the right man pull up, sound start to clap. Tubby owned his electrical repair shop along Jomali Avenue in Kingston. So people, between 1961 and 1962, King Tubby designed his own transmitter and started to run his own underground private radio station, people. You get me? So you see how talented this individual was. He's a man who knew about electronics to the T. He work on TV, he work on radio, as also that was the same location where he built and repaired large amplifier for the big sound systems. He used to play most of ska and rhythm and blues music, but that radio station was short-lived as he had to shut it down when he got information that the police was in search of the perpetrators who was operating that illegal radio station. Because in order for you to operate a radio station, you have to go through a certain procedure, you know what I mean? But them man there could have designed them one transmitter and do them one things. Them decide say, you what no, I run a thing backdoor deal, and the authorities almost catch up on him. After that failure, Tubby eventually formed his own sound system. In him Tubby's hometown Hi-Fi. Come like a them man inspire Wi-Fi now. And this was in 1958. His sound quickly became a crowd favorite, because as everybody know, Tubby was the man who knew how to make the sound and play clean and sweet. So as a result of that, most of the people them love for him sound and wanted to rock to it because of how smooth and clean it played. He had the best quality equipment. And this sound system also launched the career of artist Uri. So Tubby became very influential in the world of sound system. As you know, Tubby introduced a whole lot of new things to music and sound system. Back in those days, it was mostly 45 that people used to use to do clashes and so on. But you know, Tubby is one of those who influenced the development of dub plates, which people still use to today's date. He also had great influence as it relates to remixes. You understand, people? So because of all of these things, Toby's sound system was on top. Very, very successful. Toby also owned a recording studio and he did music production. In the early 1970s, he easily became one of the most famous celebrities as a sound owner and a music producer. This was because of his knowledge in production and the techniques that he used. Toby was always improving on his skills and always experimenting and coming up with new ideas, new sounds, trying new things, you know what I mean? And as a result of that, he became more popular because what he was doing was trial and error. He was just experimenting with new styles, you know what I mean? And most of what he did was a success. He also introduced a lot of different sound effects, you know what I mean? A lot of the sound effects them where you used to hear a dance as a little youth. Nowadays you hardly hear them whole heap of effects in a sound like one time. Them things they kind of change, but them man they influence a lot of those changes. Toby was so good at what he was doing that by the end of 1971, he was producing dub mixes for the great, legendary Lee Scratch Perry and Glenn Brown. King Toby did a lot of great work in the music industry. You understand, people? He created a lot of new styles which are still applicable to music in today's day. Toby had a very successful career as an engineer and as a sound system owner operator. So by the later part of the 1970s to the early 80s, Toby had mostly retired from music, but he still occasionally mixed dubs and provide tutoring for the younger generation, people like King Jammy and Upton Brown. So in the 80s, Toby built a large studio in Waterhouse, which is a neighborhood located in Kingston. This larger studio had increased capabilities, and this was where he focused on managing his labels Firehouse, Waterhouse, Kingston 11 and Taurus, which released productions of Anthony Red Rose, Sugar Miner, Conroy Smith, King Everald and a lot of other artists. So King Toby was basically comfortable, you know what I mean? He put in so much work over the years, and now is the time when he's really relaxing, because in order to build a business, especially a music business, a whole heap of groundwork you have to put in. You have to be on the ground and putting in the work, and Toby did that and established a proper career for himself. He learned the music business, so he knew the right from the wrong, and he know the do's and the don't. And it is a good thing when you see a Jamaican rise up like that and get to the level where he can relax and employ other people to work, and he just provide tutoring, because in a manner like this he can pass on the knowledge that he gained to others, you know what I mean? Yeah, people. So King Toby can be classified as a legendary music producer slash engineer slash sound system owner slash operator. So now, people, we're gonna talk about how Toby lost his life. On the 6th of February 1989, King Toby was shot and killed outside his home in Duane Park, Kingston, upon returning home from a studio session in Waterhouse at his studio. And this is the reason why we always emphasize on the fact that when you rise, you have to be wise, because King Toby did so much for music and he was known and loved by a lot of persons. But the fact that you are loved by people means that you will be hated by some people and you will be targeted by some people, especially persons who think that you have money and you will always have a whole heap of money in your pocket, you have on jewelry and so on, then we want to rob you. It is said that King Toby was killed during a robbery where he was resisting the robbers, but that does not necessarily mean that it went that way. It could have been a situation where other producers were envious of his success, as well as other persons could have been carrying grudges. Because remember, you know, this man is a music producer, and you know, once you're a music producer, a whole heap of artists are gonna come around, and a whole heap of man are gonna come around and say them an artist, and when you as a producer don't see the talent in them and you tell them the truth, you know, so them will carry grudge for you. Same way. So it can be a situation where him lose him life in that manner, as well as it can be a situation where a man rob him, as well as it could have be a situation where him and people have problem otherwise we not really hear about. But we have to look on things from all different angles. Another legend's journey was cut short. You get what I say, people? And that is the reason why whenever we get to a certain level in life, we have to put ourselves in places that we are safe. In a sense, you make a whole heap of money and you put yourself in our era where you live careless same way, where people can squeeze you upon you and take your life. Because it's just the reality of how things unfold all the time. You understand, people? No matter how good they are to people, no matter how real they are to people, people will still try to mess you up and try to walk over you. But anyway, salute to a real legend. You know what I mean, people? You can like, subscribe, and share. If there's anyone with more information on how King Toby lost his life, feel free to share it in the comment section. Peace.